Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. In this series, we are going to learn Python specifically for bioinformatics, step by step from absolute basics to real biological data analysis. Now, DNA sequences, RNA sequences, protein sequences in Python, all of them are basically text. And what is text? Text is a string. So, before we do real bioinformatics analysis, we need to first master strings in Python. So, this series will be dedicated to strings. Basically, it's a string masterclass where in every video we will be covering a small topic related to strings and the different operations you can perform on strings. So, you can learn one of the most important concepts for working with real biological sequences. So, with that, let's begin. Bioinformatics, strings are everywhere. Like I said, DNA sequences are strings, RNA sequences, protein sequences, even the FASTA files, gene names, everything is a string. In Python, a string is basically a built-in data type and it is used to represent textual data. Technically, it is an immutable sequence of Unicode characters. Now, anything in Python that is enclosed in a single, double, or even triple quotes is a string. It is immutable because once a string is created, you cannot change its content. Any modification, it creates a brand new string or a new variable, right? So, this is something you should always remember. Strings are immutable. Okay, now let's start writing the code. So, as we write the code, we will also along with that, we'll study how you can create a string. We'll study about the indexing, slicing, as well as multi-line strings. So let's begin. Alright, so let's start writing the code together. That's how this is a string. Now this is the string, this is a value that is stored and it is stored in this variable. So DNA on the left hand side is the variable, on the right hand side is the value, and this is the equality symbol. Okay, so if I want to print this, I will write print DNA. That is going to print the DNA sequence. Very simple. Now, if you're asked to find the length of this DNA sequence or find the length of any string, how are you going to do that? Print DNA is printing the original sequence. If I write print len and DNA, and len comes with a parenthesis, so this will be enclosed within two brackets, and when I run that, it prints the length of the sequence. Okay, so this function is very important. It's called len, and whenever you're asked to report the length of a sequence or length of a string or a substring, you're going to use this function called length, which counts the characters. Okay, next is to find the type of a string. Type not just a string type of any data. Okay, so instead of len, if I write type, it's going to print the type, which is string. Okay, at the same time, if I wrote length is 400 and I write print type of length. Okay, and just leave the space over here. Okay, when I run that, this is int because 400 is an integer, but if I enclose this 400 in quotes, it becomes a string. So that just goes to again further re-emphasize that anything in Python enclosed within quotes is a string. Okay, so we saw how you can find out the type and also how you can find the length. Next, a very foundational thing in Python is string indexing, and when you learn that, you will understand how the characters are positioned in a string, how you can access a substring, positive indexing, negative indexing, etc. etc. So let's start with the basic indexing. So say I have a sequence and this is the sequence. Okay, this is my sequence. Now I want only the first you understand indexing. Indexing in Python is how Python stores the positions of each character internally. Okay, so you would say this is A is at position 1, T is at position 2, G is at position 3, but that's not how it really works in Python. In Python, A is at position 0, T is at position 1, G is at position 2, this T is at position 3. So indexing in Python starts with 0. Okay, this is called positive indexing when you go from left to right. But if you reverse that, if you're coming in the opposite direction, minus this A is at position -1. It starts with -1. So forward indexing starts with 0 and backward indexing starts with -1. So -1, -2, -3. That's how it goes. Okay. Now if I ask you to just print the first base in this sequence, how are you going to do that? You're going to write print the name of the sequence and the name of the variable, and the position. So if I wanted A and A is at position 0, so when I run that, it prints A. Similarly, if I want this T is at position 0, 1, 2, 3, so it's gonna print the T. If I want the last base to be printed, I'm gonna write -1 and run that. It's gonna print A. If I want this G, it's -1, -2, -3, -4. It's gonna print G. Alright, that is indexing for you. So after indexing, the most important thing is slicing, string slicing. Now slicing is done to extract sequencing regions or codons or subsequences or reverse sequences, basically to extract substrings from a string. Okay, so how do we do this? Now say I want, when you're writing a code for slicing, you will write what you want in the beginning. So start, colon and end. So if I want, now if you look at the sequence, look at it, it starts with ATG. And what is ATG? ATG is a start codon, right? It is a start codon. So say your question is, you are given a sequence and you want to extract the start codon from this sequence. So how will you do it? The start codon starts at which position? It starts at position 0. Right? A is at position 0. So you're going to write 0, then you're going to put your colon and then the end position 0, 1, 2. It ends at 2. But one thing you need to remember, very, very important while slicing in Python, is that the start is included while the end is excluded. So if I write 0, 1, 2, okay, if I write 2, it will just print A and T. Why? Because I said the end is excluded. So if I want ATG to be printed, I need to count one more. I need to take one more base into count, and I'm gonna write 3. So when I write 3, it prints ATG. Okay, so that's how splicing works in Python. While slicing, you just need to remember the start is included and the end is excluded. Now that's not just for the start codon. Anything that you want to extract, any substring, that's how you're going to do. Say I want to extract this GCT. Alright, it is at which position? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it starts at 4. I'm going to write 4. Okay, then 5, 6. But the end is excluded. So I'm going to write 7. When I do that, it prints GCT. Alright, that's how slicing works. Next is omitting the start or end. If you want to omit the start or end of a sequence, say, you'll understand as we write the code. I write print sequence from sequence and what. If I write colon and 3 and then I run that, you can see it prints only the first 3 bases and it omits everything else. So it omits the end. Okay. Similarly, if I write 5, it will print only the first 5 characters and it will omit the rest of it. Okay, that's how you print only the beginning and you omit the end. Now, if I wrote colon and 5. So say if I write 5 and then I write the colon, it is going to omit the first 5 bases and then print only the remaining ones. Okay, see, so instead of this, if I wrote 3 and colon, it's going to omit the first 3 bases and it's going to return only the rest of them. So that is how omitting the start or end is. Lastly, we'll see step slicing. Now what is step slicing? Say this is the sequence and I want every second base to be printed. So I want A, after A should come G, then this G, T, A and A. I want every second base to be printed. How are you going to do that? You're going to write colon, colon and every second base, right? So you're going to write 2. When I do that, it prints every second base. So A, then this G, it skips the T, again it skips the T, G, it skips the C, T, it skips the A. So that's how it works. Now instead of every second, if I want every third base to be printed, I'm going to write 3 and then it prints every third base. So that's how step slicing works. Lastly, if you want to reversing a string is again an important concept, because you're often asked questions about reversing a sequence or finding the reverse complement of a string. So for that, we'll again take the same sequence. How you're going to find the reverse is you're just going to write print the name of the variable sequence. You open your indexing square brackets for indexing, colon, and minus 1. Okay, that is what you do for reversing, and when you print that, the reverse string is printed. And this is something you should just memorize, how to reverse a string. Okay, so that is it for this one. Very small exercise on strings and indexing, mostly on strings. The next one will be about the string operations such as concatenation, repetition, membership, etc. So stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.